manually moving the same emails every single day, newsletters to a folder, notifications out of the way, updates that you don't need to action, I'm going to show you how to make Outlook do that for you automatically every time they arrive. It takes a couple of minutes to set up, and once it's running, you don't have to think about it again. So let's have a look. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a rule that watches for emails from a specific sender, and then it moves them to a folder the moment they arrive. Now, for this example, I am using my team at email account as the example that we're going to set this rule up in. The same logic is going to work for keywords in the subject line, emails where you're CC'd, or anything from a specific domain. Once you've built your first rule or your main rule, you'll know how to build any others that you need. So we're in Outlook. I'm working in the classic Outlook. I'm working on the desktop, and I use a Windows or PC. So if you work on a Mac, it will look a little different. If you work in the new version of Outlook, it will look a little different. And if you work on the web version, it will work a little differently as well. So from here, I click my Home tab. And up in the ribbon, I have got rules, and I can create a rule or I can manage rules. The other option I've got is that I can go to File, and I can manage rules and alerts from here. And this will open it up as well. And you can see I can choose which email account I'm working from. And that option is the same as if I was to go here and go manage rules and alerts. If I was to select create a rule or always move messages here, this is going to be based on the email that I have highlighted or that my cursor has selected in the inbox. So we're going to start from scratch. So I'm going to do manage rules and alerts, and we're going to create a new rule in this inbox. So you can see that we've got lots of different ways that we can run this wizard. I can start with a blank rule. I can use some that they've preset, but we're going to go with from a blank rule so you can see how it's built. So we are going to apply the rule based on messages I receive. So this is about what's coming into my inbox. Then we go next. And what we do now is that we set conditions. So this is where we're telling Outlook what to look for. I'm going to select from people or a public group, which means that you can see it's building the rule down here. And when I click here, the little link, it's going to let me tell it who I'm looking for information from. So I am actually going to make it emails that come from my own email address. So up here would be where I would search. Down here is the email address specifically. So I'm going to type my email address there and go OK. So you can see it's emails that come from, and that's the name of that account. I can click as many of these as I would like, and that's not a problem. Like you can have multiple ones. So if I was to then say so it's where my name is in the CC box and it's from Team Maz. So it's going to build that rule out. The next thing that we're going to do is we need to tell it what to do with it. We're going to set an action. So the action I'm going to get it to do is I'm going to get it to do two things here. I'm going to get it to move it to a folder, but I'm also going to get it to mark it as read. So you can see what it's going to do now is that when an email arrives from my email address, you're going to move it to the specified folder, and obviously we'll have to tell it that. And we're going to mark it as read, which for me means I'm not seeing that there's an unread email floating around somewhere in my inbox that I can't find. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to choose the folder that I want. So you need to have your folder set up in your account in advance, or you can create a new one from here. So I'm actually going to put it into my FYI only one. So it's going to go into a subfolder. So you can see now, whoops, did that work? It's having a minute. Okay, there you can see. So when the message arrives from Team Maz, move it to the FYI only folder and mark it as read. Now, you can add exceptions here if you need them. For example, don't move it if it's been flagged as high importance or where it's only been sent to me. So you can see that this would be a filter for the rule. So it comes in and it's going to say, do all of these things unless these conditions are met. And that means that for things where you might want to see it before it moves, you can hold those in your inbox. But I'm going to skip this for now because I just want to keep it super simple. But if you are working with emails where you know that there are some specific conditions, this is where you would set them. Then we go next. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to give it a clear rule name. So it needs to have a name so that I know at a glance what that rule is doing. So I'm going to call that FYI emails from Team Maz. Okay. And then there's a couple of things we can do. I'm going to tick run this rule. You can run the rule. So if you've already got stuff sitting in your inbox and you want it to filter it through, you can do that. We're going to make sure that it's ticked to turn on, and then I'm going to go finish. So I know that there aren't any in here right now, so I'm going to go finish. So if Outlook isn't running, the rule won't work for email that I check online. So this rule sits just in this. This is based on the desktop app. Okay, so you can see that's there. This is the rule. We're going to go apply and okay. Okay, so now let's test it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send an email from here. We're going to send it to the same email address. I'm going to call this test email for new rule, and we'll just pop, this is a test email to see what happens. Okay, like so, and send. Now, it's going to take a minute because it has to go a very long way to go out and back in again. So let's wait and see. I'm just checking the emails as we go. Sometimes it takes a minute. There we go. Oh, so it's landed in the folder and immediately that rule has activated it. If I go to my FYI only, there it is, and it's been marked as red and it's done. So it went straight to the folder. It very momentarily arrived in my inbox. So it flicked up, but if I wasn't actually looking at my inbox at that stage, I wouldn't even notice it. It's moved it and it's marked it as red. So there are a couple of things that you need to know about before you go off and build 10 or 20 rules. The first thing is that our rules, so when I go here now and we go to manage rules, these rules run in order from top to bottom. So if you've got multiple rules, the order actually really matters. You can drag them up and down. You can move them around. You can see once you've got a couple, you'll be able to move them up and down to control what happens first. Secondly, some rules will be client side or account side, which means they only run when Outlook is open. So if you need something to run, even when you're not at your desk, you need to look for rules that are marked as server side in the list. And that will happen in the options. If we edit this rule, we should be able to open it up. We'll show somewhere here. No, this one won't. So this one, because of this warning message we got, this is a client-side one. And it will probably be because my primary account is this one, and this is actually a secondary account that I'm working on the desktop. So if I had created it potentially in the web or in New Outlook, it might work a little bit differently. But you need to keep that in mind. So server-based rules will run on Exchange and they don't need Outlook to be open. They'll happen whether you have Outlook open or not. So you've now built your first Outlook rule. A couple of minutes to get it set up. Outlook handles the sorting out from here on in. Keep an eye out on my YouTube channel for some more videos about Outlook rules. I'm going to be doing a series of them with some real world scenarios for you about things like newsletters, CC'd emails, and keyword filtering. And I will update the link in the description when those are live. If you would like a practical tip like this every day in your inbox, I run a daily email called the Daily Systems Fix. It's It's one tip every day with an actionable task that you can follow. It takes a couple of minutes to read. The link to that is in the description. And if you sign up, your first tip will arrive tomorrow morning. If you found this video helpful, remember to hit subscribe. I post regular tips to help EAs, admins, and business owners, and I would love to see you following along on the next video.